They say that the morning routine is the most vital part of your day. In a society based on the mentality that bigger is better, there are endless videos out there encouraging people to get up at 4 a.m. and efficiently hustle to get shit done. As a fellow entrepreneur and creative witch, I have given my fair share of morning hacks a try, thinking it would solve my lack of motivation and discipline. Unfortunately, it didn't. And sure, it may work for a rare few, but for myself, a lover of all things magical, this type of hustle lifestyle just didn't cut it. So I tried something different, something more gentle, more compassionate, something illuminating. And that was journaling. In this video, I intend to share with you a bit about the power of journaling, why as a magical practitioner, you may want to start this practice if you don't already have one established, or perhaps you need some encouragement to begin again. I'll share with you some of my favorite journaling techniques, and at the end of the video, I hope to go over some of my top journaling prompts that you can use to spark your magical creative juices. According to the dictionary, the word journal comes from the French, meaning that which takes place daily. It also has its ties to the mid-century Anglo-Saxon reference of a book of church services. The root of the word journaling means to practice every day and clearly has a spiritual connection to it. I do believe that having a consistent and spiritual approach is the key to hacking the power of journaling. There's so many different types of journaling methods, from bullet journaling, dream journaling, manifestation journaling, free writing or stream of consciousness writing, art journaling, and the more scientific magical journaling. People journal for a variety of reasons, and some folks are more comfortable with sharing vulnerable details in their journal than others. If you've ever had your mom read your personal details in your journal as a teen, then you know what I mean. Ugh, moms. Why don't they put those little locks on journals anymore? But I digress. Overall, journaling is the process of placing down your thoughts, experiences, hopes and dreams, your fears, your gratitudes, and your vision for your life. And again, according to the etymology of the word, it's meant to make it a daily practice. What's important is for you to tap into what aligns most for you and your magical practice. So why journal? Researchers have studied the power of journaling, making discoveries such as how a gratitude journal can promote happiness, decrease anxiety, and add to a general sense of well-being, boasting benefits such as improved cognition and memory through expressive writing to even speeding up the recovery of small physical wounds. It seems that by writing down one's thoughts and emotions, you can bring about a new state of awareness and mindfulness into your life. When you become the observer of your life, you no longer play the role of the victim, and you thus become empowered. Famed occultist and magician Aleister Crowley spoke about the importance of keeping a magical diary as a form of scientific illuminism, an exploration of one's true will, such as who am I and where am I going? In the magical order known as the AA, it's expected that an initiate keep a daily record or journal for at least a year before advancing in the grades. Israel Vergardi extends in his book, The Tree of Life, that it should be made the order of the magician's life to keep a scientifically entered diary of the magical experiments and visions, since this is conducive to order and equilibrium, which is the direction whither his aspiration tends. In essence, Vergardi is reminding us that the path of magic should strive for equilibrium. Maintaining this balance can ensure we're moving through life's ups and downs in a way that mirrors order rather than chaos. Journaling can support you with finding balance and order in your life so you are more consistent and able to show up as you feel called. I'm going to share with you a bit about my personal journaling process in hopes that that can guide you on your own path. The first step is agreeing to starting a journaling practice. Maybe you have a particular intention in mind and want to see how journaling can be of support. Declare that from this moment on, you will dedicate yourself to journaling as often as you feel the call to. The next step is to simply choose a journal. There's so many wonderful journals out there, from line journals, blank page journals, coiled or bound journals, digital or raw paper journals. Your method to journaling madness is solely based on what you feel called to explore. I would encourage you to give a few of these options a try, as you just never know which one you'll prefer. I, personally, enjoy my journals with a nice thin and gold coil. Sexy. But on a serious note, the best journals I've written in are from a brand called Fringe Studio. They're easily located in most local Winners or HomeSense if you have one of those in your area. They come in a variety of sizes. Their coils actually hold throughout the duration of the journal's lifespan, and they're reasonably priced. So you found your journal, you have a pen that dances smoothly on the page. Now you might be wondering, what exactly do I write about, and how often? Well, that's the third step. Get writing. And you'll see that this is where journaling gets personal. In order to make journaling a habit, it needs to fit into your life schedule. This means being realistic with what your journaling goals look like. Don't say you'll journal for an hour every day when you barely have room for 5 minutes of self-contemplation most mornings. I will say, though, that after exploring various forms of stream of consciousness writing and practicing techniques such as the daily pages from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, I like the idea of giving oneself a period of either 20 to 30 minutes or at least 3 pages of writing, depending on how big your journal is. This may mean you have to set an alarm 20 to 30 minutes earlier so that you can get starting writing as you begin your day. If you hate mornings or just find that earlier day a difficult step, then know that people journal throughout their day, and it really doesn't matter when you do it. There is some anecdotal evidence suggesting that first thing in the morning is an ideal time to tap into spirit as you're transitioning from the dream state into the awake state. Yet, I think you can induce this state at any point through meditation or other mindfulness practices. So if you're only able to journal in the day, perhaps it makes sense to meditate for a few minutes before putting pen to paper. As mentioned earlier, there are a variety of journaling methods to draw upon, and I personally like to mix it up based on what I'm intuitively feeling called to create. Here are some prompts or ideas that I like to use in my own journaling practice. First is the gratitude list. Starting or ending your day with a gratitude list can be a great reminder for how life is actually pretty decent. Even on the off days, you can come up with a few things you're grateful for. The air you're breathing, the fact that you have a journal and a pen, etc. Be as simple or as complex as you want to be. By writing down your gratitude list, you're telling the universe, yes, please, I'd like some more. The second journaling technique. 3 wins at the end of the day. Like the gratitude list, this one draws upon the positive experiences of your life, focusing on your wins, your accomplishments, successes, and breakthroughs. This can be an extremely generating way to promote more forward movement on your goals and overall life. This one is a win-win for entrepreneurs and creatives. I find when I write down my wins at the end of the day or in the morning when I'm reviewing the previous 24 hours, it reminds me of the progress I've been making day by day. The third technique is a dream journal. If you're someone who dreams and wants a way to categorize and understand your dreams more easily, or perhaps you don't recall your dreams and you want to start tapping into the power of the dream time, then a dream journal is the thing for you. Dream journaling is as simple as starting your day tapping into what showed up in the dream time. You can do this by writing down in as much detail about your night's dream time. I often tell clients that struggle recalling details of their dream to recall at least one feeling or word and begin the stream of consciousness writing from this place. For instance, sometimes I might wake from a dream and can only recall one particular object, like a treasure chest made of obsidian. I'll write down this tidbit of information and then see what shows up when I continue to write on the page. It's as if when you continue to write, you're reminded of the previous details and you're able to dive deeper into that dream recall. Another approach to dream journaling I like is to move backwards in the events of the dream. It seems that this also can help with recalling the events or what the messages are in the dream. Remember to trust this process, and in time, you'll be able to better recall your dreams. Number 4 is the worst case scenario or best case scenario. The worst case, best case scenario technique moves us into the realm of light shadow work, I would say. It's an opportunity to explore the good and the ugly of our life experience. This can be a helpful approach to use when you're facing anxieties about life. You start with writing down the worst case scenario around that said event. And what would this look like? Where would you be left off with? Maybe the worst case scenario is of a relationship ending and you feel like, oh my goodness, I might die alone when you're 90 years old. Whatever your idea of the worst case scenario is, go through it after you write it down, rereading and contemplating how this most likely isn't going to happen. Next, I invite you to spend a few moments writing down what would be your ideal scenario given the situation. What's the bestest thing that could happen to you or for you, as fantastical as it might seem? With this technique, you're priming your imagination and focusing on the reality of the situation, the possibilities and doorways that can open. It opens the doors to miracles. Be willing to see the best possibility in your life and that the universe is conspiring ever in your favor. Number 5, give your part a name. This technique helps to give voice to parts of yourself that you may be struggling with finding compassion for or even accepting in your life. A part is like a shadow or aspect of your personality. We all have parts to us and they make us who we be. In this practice, you're bringing forth a particular part, for example, an angry part or a part that feels abandoned. And you start to ask it questions. I write down the questions that I want answered and I connect to the part that I'm hoping to speak with. This involves noticing where it shows up in your body or around your body and then allowing it to have voice through your writing. Write down what it says or shares with you. You may come to some new realizations about this part. You can conclude this practice with some gratitude and maybe some acknowledgement statements about this part of you and thanking it for showing up. Some people even go so far as to write the questions with their dominant hand and then switch over to give the part the non-dominant hand to write through. This is sort of like a channeling method that you could use as well to connect with different entities. The next and final journaling technique I want to share with you is the simple writing out of prayers. I find that sometimes this comes up for me, and I used to battle this concept of writing prayers because growing up I believed that prayers had to be done in a particular way. Now though, I embrace that sometimes my words on a paper, which really are just spells, that's where we get the word spelling from, are declarations and calls to the divine, my most high self. And so allowing yourself to go into a sort of stream of consciousness as you write prayers, what wants to be prayed through you, to spirit, to creator, to your highest self, for yourself or for others, and tap into the power of the journal to bring these into existence. So those are some of my top ways or favorite journaling prompts and techniques, and there are really countless many out there. So feel free to let me know in the comments, what are some of your ways to journal? Another thing I want to share here is some extra tips that I have found helpful include writing the dates that index each journal. You can do this by writing on the inside cover or the back cover so that you can easily reference the dates of when you were filling in this journal. So for instance, maybe you started the journal on the 19th of September 2023 and it goes until the 20th of December 2023. Another tip I'll share here is to write down any important themes that showed up during that time. Maybe you came into a particular ritual practice or had some major insight or carried out a particular manifestation ritual that you want to document. Writing these small notes on the inside helps keep track so that in the future when you're seeking out your old journals, you have a quick reference point to go through. The question for many journal writers is, should I keep my journals or not? I personally like to keep all my journals, at least the ones since I began really diving into my spiritual and magical practices. Is it a bitch to have to haul everything when you move to a new place? Yes, but it's definitely worth going through every once in a while as a reminder to the work that you've put into your personal development. And again, remember, journaling is meant to be inquisitive, insightful, and fun. So keep it light and try your very best to enjoy every moment of it. In time, with your commitment, it will become a daily habit and one that contributes to your magic and experience of life. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in another one.